Oh, there you are.
Yeah, yeah.
Hello. How are
Thank.
you doing?
I'm okay, I suppose.
You suppose? Okay. Well, I thought you'd be a little bit more like feeling good about yourself after those games right there.
I thought that this last game, if I would have made the army faster than I did, maybe I had a chance to win the last game as well.
Yeah, I think quite a few people may be surprised at that result, but I think you're definitely one of the most underrated players in the Platinum League at the moment. And like after your 3-0 loss to Riot last week, to now come 2-2 against the Viper, I think that's an awesome thing. So just real quick, we'll go back to last week and how your games with Riot. What do you kind of feel went wrong there? Like, how
Oh
come
my god.
things weren't really working so well?
That first game, and that not the first game. First game was a disaster. Not about that. I made too many spares. But the second game, Arabia Stick War, where I had a huge lead. I thought the game is so over. Actually, in the game while we were playing, I alt tabbed to check Facebook because the game was so over. I don't know. I just kind of stopped playing because he was
Okay,
one
yeah.
T. I knew that he was one TC, and I had like five, and I had like 70 more pop. But I still
Yes.
have somehow managed to throw it away.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid comeback from him. But
Mm.
I think that's the thing. Like closing out the game. I mean, what was it that really stopped you then? Is it literally just because you felt you had it and you kind of stopped playing, or I mean, like, what kind of was it there?
The thing is, I had a really huge economical lead, but I never really put it into army. I just made all the eco upgrades and everything, and I did like I never had a big army. Like most I had like was probably like 20 champs and like 10 arbalists. That was my biggest army ever. I should have stopped on villager production and just put more in the military and taking down his castles. Because whenever enemy goes jaguars or whatever unique unit, you just want to take out castles because without them your enemy is dead. I should have concentrated on that instead of just making more and more wills.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to ask as well, actually, because I mean, in that game, you went champions and like you really committed to champions. And how do you, how like obviously they're fairly cost effective in terms of their gold cost, but all the fights were kind of even in terms of numbers, so they ended up just getting killed time and time again by the Jaguars. I mean, looking back on that, do you think maybe you could have switched into doing a different unit, or was the gold a little bit too tight to do that?
I think I had a gold. I think I should have just mixed in more arbalists. Like I can't go eagles, and I didn't have enough castles to go jags, so I had to go champs. But I should have because champs are not so bad against jaguars actually. Plus you can make 10 barracks. Enemy cannot make 10
Yeah, of
castles.
course. Yeah.
And I had a map. I had most of the map control as well, and I had relics. So gold wasn't really the problem. Problem was that I didn't mass them enough. And
Okay.
probably arbalists behind would have worked as well.
Yeah. So of course, those games were like last week. They're old news now, but obviously, I wanted to ask you about them anyway. But like this week, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's. I think everyone gets so excited when they see someone come out and they give Viper a real good run for his money. So I kind of wanted to ask first of all about the second game, which was the first win for you there against the Viper. Like, do you think that the early aggression was really what won you that, and then allowing you to fall back and wall up, and also Salt Marsh as well? Like, what's with the Salt Marsh pick?
Well, you have to pick like Viper is better than me in every aspect of the game, so I have to pick a non-standard map where I can do non-standard stuff. And Saltmarsh is tends to be a little bit unfair. Like you saw that I had a good water
Yes.
and he had to walk for the water, and as well his pig was behind forest, which helped me. Like that was my idea, just to hopefully get a better map than him. And
Yeah, but I was going to say the funny thing is the map actually was quite nice for the Viper there because he had a back gold, he had a wood line that kind of went all the way around his TC. So was that kind of what made you think, right, I've got to just get really aggressive here?
I just knew that because of I saw that he's on berries, and I saw that his map is pretty easily evolvable. I expected him to go FC. So what you want to do is just take some map. Like because when you go FC, your economy is very fragile. It's very small, and you just want to keep him off the good balance. So so he has to move economy, and maybe like take away some gold or stone or whatever resource I can. because I saw that his stone had. I didn't want him to go plums. I wanted him to go expose, and I saw his stone. So I wanted to first take out his stone, then I want to take out his gold on the upper side and wood. And just it's better to be aggressive than being defensive, especially against Viper.
Because I was going to say, like, against the Viper, do you think that's really one of the keys to actually being able to beat him? Just getting really aggressive and just keeping that pressure on?
I have had a... Even so, Viper is so much better than me. I have a... Usually, whenever we play, I win the games from him. I think because my style is really good for him, against him. Because I think I play smart aggressive. I push the right spots and then I try to... I try to push him to go to the long feudal while I'm going castle age faster than him. Kind of what happened in the Arabia game. I made him to go skirmishers, making little army. So he is making lots of feudal army, and that slows him down. And as well with towers, taking map control from him, so he cannot expand and use his macro in that way.
Yeah, obviously that's going into the third game. I mean, after that second game, and you saw like how being aggressive and keeping him penned into his corner of the map worked really well for you. Knowing that, did you go into the third game thinking initially that, okay, I'm going to get really aggressive, I'm going to go forwards and forward him? Or was that a decision based on your map? Do you think that was going to be influenced by the map, or you went into the game planning to do that?
Well, that was a combination of things. First of all, that he picked Britons. I kind of expected him to pick Britons. And Aztecs are so much worse than Britons in Castle Age. So I want to have a big advantage in feudal. So first I went for the steal right away, stole a pig. And when I stole a pig, I knew that I'm gonna go forward because of my uptime will be better than his. And especially when I saw he's rushing, which will slow him down even more.
Yeah.
And he made a forward barracks. And if you kill barracks in Dark Age, enemy has to remake barracks to make archer range in feudal. So I wanted really to take out his barracks to even slow him down more. So he cannot upgrade man-at-arms and he has to make barracks, and he's not going to be able to make so many archers because he will spend wood and so on. I just wanted to play as aggressive as possible because Aztecs have a big advantage in Dark Age and feudal compared to Britons, while Britons pull away in the Castle Age.
And then obviously in the late game, when you get the Eagles out, then that's when you just, I mean, well, your economy is going to be very strong. And then you can just obviously go through with the Eagles and clean up from there. I do think like that first tower you placed was really good because it was right on his farms, on his TC. And at that point, obviously you stole his boar, and he'd also lost a sheep as well. So his food income was absolutely, really rock bottom. And then forcing him to go into skirms as well. That absolutely destroyed his villager production. So I think that was really well played.
Oh, thank you. Well, I have played quite a few games with Viper like this, going Drush into man-at-arm forward, and quite often it works pretty good. Of course I lose more games than I win, but still I have my games against him playing this style. And it's really hard to stop as well. Because what can you really... Okay, kind of talking
once you've got momentum, yeah.
What I want to say. Because whenever you steal food and then you go man-at-arm forward, it's pretty impossible to stop in Dark Age man-at-arms and towers. Like, literally nothing you can do. You got to give away map control and just try to wall and be defensive in your corner. And when you play defensive, your economy is pretty much always worse than being offensive.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of wanted to talk to you as well about just a little bit like going forwards, going into next week, and obviously like future weeks in the event. Next week you're playing against Tato. How do you feel about those games?
I should win, I think. I feel like I should be taking 3 points. Of course, we are really similar style-wise. We are very similar players. But we have done a training for the Maldives tournament. We did quite a few training games, and I did very good against him. So I have confidence that I can win him. But of course, it can go either way. I'm not saying I will win 100%. I think I'm like 60% favorite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to this game. I think they're going to be nice. I think they should be reasonably close, and then obviously sort of like one player winning out towards the end of the game, which is the kind of games that we like to see. And also, like, I wanted to ask, obviously there's some real big names in this as well. Like there's Mr. Yo, there's Chris, there's also Bagiofro. So I mean, who do you feel is going to be like your biggest opponent from now on, like going forwards? Who do you think is going to be the most difficult for you to face next?
Like there's no easy opponent. There's no opponent you see. Oh, it's 3 points. Like it's easy games. There's no opponent like that. Every game you have to like really play good to win it. So I don't think that there's really opponent I'm looking forward and I'm like, oh, it will be really tough and that opponent will be really easy. I think every opponent will be really hard to beat.
Yeah, that's actually good to hear, to be honest, because I think it's with having so many good players in a single league, I think it's nice that we can go all the way through and all the games are going to be like, challenging for everyone involved, which is really nice. One more thing as well, I think this will probably be the last question. Some people in the chat were asking about sort of the map packs. Obviously, we've got 2 map packs. So, like, what's your favorite maps in the map packs from like the light map pack?
To be honest, I don't know the maps. when a game starts,
Okay.
I'm trying to explore and see what kind of map that is. I saw the pictures. I haven't really trained the maps, so I don't think I have a favorite. I like El Dorado, but this El Dorado is the
Okay.
old one because
Yes.
the new El Dorado was easier to play. This one is more complicated with water, which makes it more
Yes.
fun. I like
Yeah,
when there is water and land, and you can go boat, and it's more fun when there's more options in a game.
Definitely. I was going to say this El Dorado as well. It also doesn't have the stone and the gold outside of the TC. So all the gold and stones in the middle.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Against the Ruit I played, and I was like scouting and looking for my gold, and I'm like, what the fuck, where's my gold?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to catch a few people out actually because like the newest version, the version that was played on WSVG does have that.
Yeah, it's so much easier to play that. You can just go wall on FC, you don't have to worry about water or whatever. Like that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, this
All
is
right.
like... Okay.
Sorry, yeah, go on. I just thought you'd finish saying what you were saying there.
No, like in this map you can easily go like Byzantines is probably one of the best seals in this map. You just go full skirmisher and spear rush, and enemy can't do anything. If you take you tower the middle and you go skirmisher in the middle, and pretty much there's nothing enemy can do about that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point because obviously you're going to have more food and wood available, and you can pressure them with the cheaper skirms there, which sounds really solid. Actually, talking real quickly about civs, I said that was going to be the last question, but one last question. Civilization choices. Obviously, the first and last game, the Huns, Mayans, Aztecs, and Vikings have been banned. So we've seen a lot of people choosing the Mongols, and I just spoke to the Viper, and he said that he doesn't actually think Mongols are really that good in this situation. Like, what's your opinion on the sort of like the civs that you would want to choose for game 1 and 4?
I agree that Mongols are like, besides having the fast hunt and possibility of going early scouts, there's like Mongols shine in Imperial, but you have to survive till Imperial with good economy to actually make Mongol days. Like there's so much more better saves, especially on this map pack. If you're on water map, of course you can go super fast up, but civilization like Celts or Persians are still better, or Britons with the sheep bones, you will still be pretty much the same time up. I think Mongols are not really the good choice at all. Probably Celts, yeah. Britons. I just choose Celts because it fits my playstyle more. I can go my Man-at-Arm forwards and stuff like that, and go feudal aggression, which is probably my strong point. That's why I picked Celts in my spot. But all Britons with GTCs and the X-bows are so OP. Of course,
yeah,
those are a good choice.
I was going to say, I mean, it's surprising that both of you say that Mongols are not really so good or so favored, because so far almost every single game 1 someone has chosen to play as the Mongols. So it'd be interesting to see if towards the later stages of the event we start to see that less and less, and we start to see different civs coming in as well.
I think so. I think people are not really training these exact maps. So maybe if people would just play these maps as a training games, we would see better choices. And now it's like people like picking them choose like they would play Arabia, not like they would play map pack.
Yeah, I mean the tech light map pack it's not really too extreme really. I mean you've got one water map which is Caribbean, and you have Descent Ring which is kind of a bit of both, I suppose. And then the rest is it's kind of land, but it's they all kind of have a little bit of a twist as well, which I think is it makes things very interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, I like these maps, which is in the map packs, the tech map packs. I think they're good maps.
So actually, because obviously we have two map packs. We've got the light one, which is kind of really simple and like fairly not too extreme. What do you actually think about the ensemble maps, like Pilgrims and Shipwreck, being added in? Because they're usually like really all over the place, like really extreme.
How do they look like? I think one of them is without DC, right? One of them is like a Europe map.
Pilgrims, you start on a small island and you have to go out to the bigger island.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like Nomad, right? In a way.
Sort of a little bit.
It's
you
like
start with
Nomad.
a transport ship.
Yeah, it's like it's like the centering versus plus Nomad in a way.
Yeah, I
really like those maps, to be honest, because they are so random. Because I don't have fun in AOC about perfecting build orders. I like when you have to improvise and the game is completely crazy and you have to. There is not like, oh, I put my 20th villager on wood instead of food and that's why I will lose a game. I like when you make smart decisions and that's why you win the game.
Yeah, I think those maps definitely favor that. Yeah,
that's why I like these maps. I like Nomad as well. And why the hell is Nomad not in map pool, in a whole map pool? It's one of the most fun maps.
The reason Nomad's not in the home map is because it's like sometimes you get really unfair maps, like unreal unfair maps, like with all the gold being on one side and things like that.
Well,
so I don't know. It's just more to do with the fact that we wanted to keep the map pool fairly standard, really.
I don't know. I think Nomad is still, especially because of that. Let's say you have only one gold pile. An enemy has 5. Like there's 6 on Nomad. You just have to adjust and play accordingly. Of course, sometimes you're kind of screwed in a way, but still you have to just make better decisions and regain that disadvantage you have.
Yeah, I do think that is a good point. It's just more to do with the fact that we kind of wanted the league to really test the players across like a wide variety of situations. And we've got Nomad starts in the random map pack as well. So it's kind of going to be included in that. Actually, quickly going back to the ensemble maps, I think you're totally right about like having to adapt. And like every time the maps can be so weird, but do you feel like sometimes it could be really unfair and players might save their restart for the 4th game?
You mean the map pack maps can be unfair?
Like the ensemble Pilgrims and Shipwreck maps, which are like really random.
I don't know. I think if someone has a bad start, you just restart it. You don't really think about game 4. You want to because you have to win 3 games. You just want to win as. If it's bad, then you just restart. I don't think that anyone is yet thinking about really these games and saving their restart.
Okay, that's interesting to know. I mean, I just thought in my mind like if it was kind of an awkward map but not like really bad, then they might have tried to save it for the 4th game because it's a lot more extreme in the map. But awesome. Thank you very much for your time. It's been nice to speak to you. I've not actually spoken to you before, which is kind of like.
I'm pretty sure we have.
Do you think? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure like a million years ago we co-casted some game together. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. Well, at the moment I'm trying to like sort out with some. I've not actually started yet, but I'm going to try and sort out some co-casting with like expert players as well. So if you're interested in co-casting with me for some of these games, then that would be really cool as well.
Oh yeah, sure. If I have time.
See if you're available. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much, and good luck with your future games. And maybe we'll have another chat at some point as well, because obviously the league is fairly long.
Oh, thank you for having me. Sure.
No problem. All right. Awesome stuff. I'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, my memory is bad. Pray for rock.